All right, guys, the IRS started accepting tax returns earlier this week, but many filers still have questions about the filing process. Darren Brady with Carolina's Tax Resolution is here with me this morning to clear up some of the confusion you might have. And Darren, what's interesting, you are a tax resolution specialist, which means you're not helping people get a refund. You're helping people who are going to end up having to pay the IRS.
Absolutely. That's what I specialize in, helping people resolve problems directly with the IRS.
So when most people deal with the IRS, there's kind of this idea that you're ultimately going to have to pay whatever the IRS says. You say that's not necessarily the case. The IRS will work with you to some degree.
That's correct. The IRS can only get what they can get out of a taxpayer. And there's a statutory process and procedures that dictate how much they can collect. And if the IRS deems by these process and procedures that that's the best that they can do, then they have to consider a settlement.
Okay, if the IRS deems,
right.
Key phrase,
correct.
How often does the IRS deem?
Well, obviously they want to collect as much as they can.
Sure.
Okay, and if a taxpayer reaches out directly to the IRS, that's what they're going to say. You know, put you on a payment plan, or we can come back to you when your circumstances improve. But the fact of the matter is there are statutory processes and procedures, and if it's the best that the IRS can do at that time, they have to consider working with the taxpayer.
I'm hoping with these questions I don't get either of us audited, but how does one work around that?
It's not necessarily a situation where they're being audited. They already have the tax balance in place, and it's a matter of resolving that tax balance through many different techniques and strategies.
Okay, what are some of those techniques, and how long is the process generally? I mean, It sounds like it's probably a fairly long and fairly lengthy process.
Yes, most taxpayers hear about the settlement programs, and they want to pursue that because they want the issue to go away, and that can typically take anywhere from a year to year and a half. But there are other options out there. A taxpayer can file for innocent spouse relief. They can file for a payment plan. They can reduce their balances through penalty abatements. They can, if they have other consumer debt, they may be able to have taxes discharged through bankruptcy.
Are most of your customers individuals, or do you deal more with businesses?
Both.
Okay, so it is both.
It is.
Now, obviously, this year, one of the things that is going to be on a lot of people's tax information is the Affordable Care Act.
Yes.
How are you expecting that to impact your customers or people who ultimately might end up having to pay?
I expect for what I do to have little impact whatsoever, because I'm focusing on tax problems which are typically years old.
Okay.
Could be 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. So the impact of what will happen for taxpayers maybe owing back the IRS for tax credits wouldn't come to me for at least 3 or 4 years.
Okay. But as people then are preparing their taxes this year to try to prevent from coming with you, and I get your business, man, but people don't want to necessarily see you. Let's be real.
Exactly.
So what are some of the things that they might want to keep in mind today so they don't have to see you in 2 or 3 years?
Well, they have to have confidence in their tax preparer. If they're using an enrolled agent, an attorney, or a CPA, that's a good start.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. Good to talk to you, my friend.
Thank you very much.
And I hope I see you back here, not in your office.
Exactly.